Welcome to another Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. I am Benjamin, and tonight I have to share with you a banknote theme of oil on banknotes. I don't mean cooking oil, I don't mean delicious edible oils, I mean petroleum right out of the ground. And I have a number of notes here from countries around the world that have banknote themes that deal with oil filled equipment, and such. This is meaningful to me because I have grown up in the state of Oklahoma for most of my life. I was born in Kansas, but I grew up in the panhandle of Oklahoma where every field had at least one oil well in it, and they were working oil wells whenever I was a child. Now you go back out there, and most of them have been capped and have disappeared, and you would never believe that at one point the oil fields of Oklahoma were some of the biggest discovered fields in the entire world. I thought I'd share some of these notes with you, maybe give you a little bit of insight into Benjamin based on what he grew up, and I'm excited to share with you this theme of banknotes. Where I know the name of the field, I'm more than happy to share it with you. So if you know more than I'm sharing, please let me know. This banknote, the first note I'm sharing with you, is from Azerbaijan, and it's a 1,000 manat, and it actually shows oil wells and offshore oil drilling platforms. But what I really like about it is if you look at the serial number, the prefix is AK, which is Alaska, which is also a place where there's a lot of oil that's found. So that's kind of a fancy serial number as far as I'm concerned. Please take a gander at the other side of this note. Very simple carpet design on 1,000 manat. Absolutely beautiful note. The next note I'm going to share with you with the oil theme is from Trinidad and Tobago. This is the face of the note, and it shows the lovely portrait of Queen Elizabeth II in her garter robes as appears in the Fishmonger Hall in London. On the back of the note is where we actually see the oil theme. And if you look in the upper right-hand corner, there we have an offshore marine oil platform in the Gulf of Paria. Maybe Paria, I don't know. It kind of amuses me that oil is a pariah. But this is actually a Texaco Trinidad offshore marine oil platform. So this is actually a named commercial site. So I thought that was pretty interesting. The next note I'm going to share with you is from Ghana. Ghana is a wonderful source of themes on banknotes, and this one is no exception. This is the face of the note, and it's a banking commemorative. But on the back of the note, ooh, look, you have gold bars, you have chocolate, you have cowrie shells, lots of primitive monies. And you would think this had something to do with oil, but actually it's like an offshore storage ship. The oil aspect of this note is this little tiny offshore rig in the back, and that's enough to qualify it to be a part of this theme group of notes. Next, we have a 1 rupee from India. And this note is actually the Sagar Samrat oil exploration platform on the back of the note. I want to apologize. I should have in advance. My pronunciation is not possibly the best pronunciation in the world. So if I have mispronounced these, do forgive me. But I do like the depiction of this technology. This is a beautiful rendition of an exploration platform out in the middle of the water. Very nice. In addition to exploration and oil wells, we have to refine that product somewhere. And one of the most beautiful refinery banknotes that exists out there is this Iranian 100 Rial banknote that shows the Abadan oil refinery on the back. I don't even know what all those things have to do. I just see miles and miles of piping and tubing and things designed to confuse the heck out of me. If I understood it better, maybe I would be making more money in the oil field than I am in the classroom. The next oil refinery note I want to share with you is actually from South Africa, and it's on the banknote of the lion on the 50 Rand. This isn't the variety that makes it look like the lions are drinking blood, with the red water. I want one of those, and someday I'll get it. This is actually the variety that has atomic signatures, and then underneath it has rendition of the Sasol oil refinery. The Sasol might be a abbreviation, SA for South Africa, SOL, South Africa State Oil something. I don't really know. I'm just making a wild guess. Or Sasol is just the name of it. But either way, it's a fantastic note. One of the earliest renditions on a banknote is on this next Bahraini banknote, a 1/4 dinar. It has some neat themes on the front of the note where you have, like, I would say it's a little bit bigger than a felucca, but you have tiny boats a sail, and they may be fishing boats or pearl boats. But when you turn it over, you have some early oil field equipment. You have a refinery in the background. And then up here you have an oil derrick. And I remember seeing tons of those working oil derricks, drilling for oil whenever I was a kid. There used to be a place in Oklahoma City down Shields Boulevard that had oil derricks everywhere. And I guess that was one of the first oil fields in Oklahoma. But Oklahoma, for the longest time, was the only capital that had a working oil well underneath the grounds of the capital that pumped oil and then later natural gas. They've kept that some time ago, but you kind of hope they've kept it up just for the historical context. The next oil note we have is from Mexico. This is a 10,000 peso, and on this side is the gigantic rock monolith of the moon goddess. And if you actually look at her, you can see her head's been cut off, her arms have been cut off, her legs have been cut off. She really offended her children, and so they attacked her and killed her and threw her body up into the sky, and I guess that's why the moon's there doing her thing now. I'm sure that was a simplified and possibly the completely wrong story about the moon goddess of the Aztec. But on this side of the note, we actually have the La Cangrejera oil refinery. And I wouldn't say I'm an expert yet, but when you see derricks and when you see all these pipes and then you see these giant round bubble things, you can guess that it's a refinery banknote. I can already tell you that I've seen some Bolivian banknotes that have that big round thing on it too. But this is an oil refinery on a banknote of Mexico. The next note is a 50 kwanza from Angola. And this banknote has a double portrait on one side, but what's interesting for the sake of this video is the platform that we see on the back side. And we know it's a petroleum platform because that's what it says right there in Portuguese. Plataforma petrolifera, or petrolifera. Petroleum platform. So there you go. Those things look like steampunk nightmare, if you ask me. Like those cities that move around and eat other cities. Oof. Yep, here we go. I wasn't wrong. Here's that Bolivian banknote that had the sphere that I recall. And it's even titled Refineria Petrolera. And I know at the time that this was made, Bolivia had some oil resources. I'm not sure they have it now. They may have completely been tapped out. But nevertheless, beautiful theme on a banknote. The other side of the note shows a guy by the name of Villarroel, and I grew up watching the TV show MASH, and I often thought that this guy looked like one of the actors on the TV show or the TV show MASH. The Winchester, the snob who played the French horn. That's kind of who this guy makes me think of. Apologies to my Bolivian friends and fans who might be related to Mr. Villarroel. I'm sure he's a well-known hero of Bolivia. He appears on the face of this 100 Bolivianos that was issued back in the 40s, and on the back of it shows a refinery for petroleum, and this one is a specific one at Valle Hermoso. So another early oil refinery. Much less developed than the ones that you see nowadays. The next note is again from Bahrain, and it's a little bit later. It's a 5 dinar. And what I like about this note is just the color schemes. But on the back of the note, this is what the oil wells looked like whenever I was a child in the panhandle of Oklahoma. We saw these and they would go up and down, and they made me think of that little red bird that was always drinking the water. And you always thought it'd be fun to get up there and ride those. And unfortunately, occasionally you'd hear stories about stupid kids who did that and then lost their lives. But that is pretty much the pump that you see pulling oil up out of the ground even to this day. Unrelated to this oil pump is an aluminum smelting plant over here on the other side of the note. And the final note, I didn't even realize was an oil theme note whenever I got the note. I got it for some other reasons, mainly because it was from Tunisia and it had a picture of Hannibal on it, which is why I like the note. And then I always thought that that was a Colosseum over here, but once I got the note, I realized it was some sort of building. I was a little bit disappointed at that point, but it was still a pretty easily acquired note. And on the back, they have, some arms and, a boat, some dates, a flag. And up there, we have a ship. Down here, we have, what do we have down there? Some animals. And over here is a mosaic of fish, and I thought that mosaic was pretty interesting. I like mosaics, and we'll be doing a theme on mosaics in the future as well. But up here in this circle, in this back corner, is an actual oil refinery. And I would have never guessed that this note had that theme on there because this design on the back is so busy. Oh my gosh, there's even a flamingo. If I'd have known that, I would have put that in my video on flamingos. Holy cow. Wait, have I done that video on flamingos? No, I haven't. Woohoo! I can put that in my video on flamingos. This note has everything, people. It even has stylized water at the bottom. Well, there you go, folks. These are by no means complete. Conspicuous by its absence is the banknotes of Saudi Arabia. The many countries have oil-related themes, and these are just the quick handful. I like to do at least 6, maybe 7, and I don't like to do much more than that because I really hate it when my videos get too long because y'all don't watch them all the way to the end anyway. However, I do hope that you will watch these to the end and that you will like and subscribe to Banknotes with Banknote. What is the name of my deal? Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. I hope you will subscribe to my page, recommend and share, or advise me where I can share these to get wide exposure. There is also feedback. I would appreciate comments, and I would appreciate you sharing with me what you liked about the video, what you didn't. Correct me, add to the video, and maybe add some notes you know of that also have the oil theme that would fit in. Someday we would have a video here that people can go to and use it as source material to build their collection of oil-related banknotes. I'm Benjamin. Have a jewel of a day.